Thanks for watching Afternoon Live. Sleep deprivation is a common complaint, but did you know it can have a major impact on your health? Here to share more, including how you can get a better night's rest, we welcome back Stanford University physician and mindfulness expert, Dr. Greg Hammer. It's great to see you.
Great to see you too, Hannah.
I think we all hear all the time that we need to get more sleep and it's so important, but let's talk about some of the reasons why it does have a big impact on our well-being.
Sleep is not a passive process. There's a lot of activity going on in the brain when we're asleep. For example, we are consolidating memories, so it's important for learning that we sleep and retain information that's vital to us. But beyond that, sleep is a time when hormones get balanced. Hormones, for example, that regulate our appetite. When we're sleep deprived, we tend to be hungry and we tend to crave sugary and fatty so-called comfort foods. I can attest to that after having been on call. There's nothing that hits the spot like one of those See's chocolate candies that a grateful family has donated to the nursing station. And also we clear junk proteins from our brain while we're asleep, including these tau and amyloid proteins that have been identified as contributors to dementia. So there's a lot going on during sleep.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible when you think about our bodies are resting, but there is so much happening during that time. Let's talk about some of the repercussions if you really aren't getting enough sleep. It can just be so harmful to our bodies.
Absolutely. I think certainly brain fog, poor memory, based on the fact that we're solidifying memories while we're asleep. And, you know, there's a very close relationship between sleep and the diseases of aging. So, for example, sleep deprivation induces a physiologic state of stress that causes our adrenaline and cortisol hormones, for example, to increase. This actually may contribute to cardiovascular disease, neurodegenerative diseases like dementia, type 2 diabetes, and even cancer because our immune system is affected. So these things are very interrelated, and also sleep, exercise, and nutrition, which are really the three vital ways that we take care of ourselves, are interrelated. So when we're sleep deprived, we tend to eat less well and too much, and we tend not to exercise. So yeah, sleep is just absolutely at the core of our health.
Is 8 hours still that magic number that we should all be striving for? It's not easy for everybody. We all have busy lives and different schedules.
Yes, you know, it's a bell-shaped curve, as you know, Hannah. There are people on the extreme end of the bell curve that can do well with less sleep, and there are others that may need more. But on average, I think the science is pretty definitive that we need 7.5 to 8 hours of good quality sleep. So it's not only the duration, but it's the quality. And you know, so we need to really focus on sleep. This idea that we'll sleep when we're dead, for example, and this kind of macho thing that used to be kind of prevalent in medicine is really fallen by the wayside, fortunately.
Well, and let's talk about things to consider avoiding, like caffeine and alcohol. Those can be so detrimental to our sleep cycles.
Absolutely. And, you know, it is a bell-shaped curve. Some people are very sensitive to caffeine, like myself. And it's important to recognize that caffeine has a very long half-life. What does that mean? When you have a cup of coffee at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe you've had lunch and you're feeling a little sag, you get a peak in your blood concentration of caffeine, maybe 30 or 45 minutes later. Half of that amount of caffeine is still in your bloodstream 5 or 6 hours after that. So that means that 50% of that caffeine's in your bloodstream at around 7 in the evening. It's like having a half a cup of coffee at dinner time. And 25% of it 5 hours later when we should be asleep. So I can tell you that that 1 o'clock cup of coffee kept me awake at night. And I think it's looking at the sort of pharmacology, if you will, explains that for most of us.
Sure.
Of course, some people can have an espresso at bedtime and be fine, but caffeine, alcohol, heavy meal, blue light from our screens, arousing stuff that we're reading about or being exposed to on our laptop or tablet or cell phone on the internet. These are all things we really need to focus on that constitute good sleep hygiene.
When keeping your schedule, right, going to sleep and waking up around the same time, even on the weekends, can be super helpful.
Yes, very much so. So again, the notion that we can be sleep deprived during the week and make up for it on the weekend and sleep in, that has really been mostly debunked. I mean, we do get some benefit from increasing our sleep after perhaps a night or two of inadequate sleep. But as you said, going to bed around the same time and waking up at the same time, even on weekends, contributes to better quality sleep.
Now, is melatonin still safe to use more than just, once or twice a week?
I think that, we don't have perfect science on that. I take 3 milligrams of melatonin every night. And, so my review of the literature indicates that it's not harmful. It may suppress our endogenous melatonin production a little bit, but I think for me, the evidence in my own experience favors a judicious dose of melatonin being safe.
Sure, knowing your dosage, right? I think a lot of us maybe just don't pay attention to the bottle in the first place. That's a good place to start. Hey, thank you so much for spending some time with us today.
Wonderful to see you again, Hannah, anytime.